When you move into a new neighborhood, you expect the occasional passive-aggressive note or an overly nosy neighbor. What you don't expect is to catch your homeowners association trying to frame you with falsified documents, especially while you're wearing a body camera. But that's exactly what happened to me and my wife. And the HOA had no clue that both of us come from law enforcement backgrounds and never step into a meeting without surveillance. The initial dispute. It all started when we questioned a few suspicious expenses in the HOA's annual financial report: charges for landscape consulting, security assessments, and a mysterious $7,000 labeled as miscellaneous grounds improvement. None of the residents ever saw any new landscaping, security cameras, or improvements. I brought it up politely during a board meeting. "We're just curious about transparency," I said. "We'd like to see the invoices and contracts." That's when the mood shifted. The board president, Rick, gave a smug chuckle and muttered, "Some people need to stay in their lane." I didn't like the tone, so I filed a formal request for the HOA's financials under the state's HOA transparency laws. That's when things got weird. Suspicious activity. A week later, I got a notice on my door saying I was being investigated by the HOA for document forgery and signature fraud. What documents? No clue. Then we received a notice of a scheduled home inspection due to suspected covenant violations. That's not standard protocol, not without pictures or prior complaints. I knew something was off. I told my wife, who's a former federal investigator, "Let's go full record mode." That's when we decided to wear our body cams. We both have small lapel units from our days in the field, and they still work like a charm. We also turned on our outdoor security cameras and synced everything to cloud storage. The setup attempt. The day of the inspection, 3 HOA board members showed up unannounced: Rick, Linda, and another guy I'd never seen before. They came in under the pretense of checking for unapproved renovations. I let them in, but kept my body cam rolling. Rick wandered off to the office while the others faked interest in crown molding and ceiling fans. A few minutes later, he came back with a smug smile. "We found something concerning," he said, holding up a manila folder. Inside were printed contracts and statements, with my name and forged signature, agreeing to pay HOA contractors under the table. "You're in serious violation of community ethics," Rick sneered. I didn't even touch the folder. Instead, I calmly asked, "So you just happened to find that in my home?" He nodded confidently. My wife stepped in, smiling. "We've been recording everything, from the moment you stepped on the property." Their faces dropped. "And we've got the footage," I added, "of Rick slipping that folder into the desk drawer when he thought no one was looking." They froze. Rick stammered. Linda went pale. The fallout. We submitted all the footage, body cams, doorbell camera, cloud storage files, to our attorney the same evening. 3 days later, our lawyer filed formal criminal complaints with the state attorney general for tampering with evidence, criminal trespass, and attempted fraud. The local media got wind of it when the footage leaked. A quiet suburban HOA scandal became the lead story on the 6 p.m. news. The headline read, "HOA accused of framing homeowners, caught by body cams." Rick resigned before charges were filed. Linda disappeared from the neighborhood. The HOA was forced to hold an emergency election. And guess who's now sitting on the board? Yep, me and my wife. The lesson. They tried to set us up, thought they could gaslight us with fake papers and bully us into silence. What they didn't count on was that we were trained, prepared, and just cautious enough to wear cameras when things started to feel off. Never underestimate quiet people with receipts and cloud backups.